In the last class, we have seen applications of this dimensional analysis. First one, we have seen correctness of a given equation. And in the second case, we have seen how we convert one system of units into another system of units, right? Now we are going to see the third one, how to find relation between two physical quantities. So how to find relation between two physical quantities. If you know they are relevant, how to how to deduce an equation for the relevant physical quantities. Here I'll be giving you some theory. By I'm giving you these theories, you can note down this after completion of the class. So anyhow, I prepared it. It will come. I may not be simply going through it, because if I read it, it won't be like a lecture. It will be like a reading session. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to find relation among some physical quantities which are dependent on each other, right? Now we will take one example to understand clearly. So what we are doing, this method is dimensions used to deduce relations among physical quantities. Okay. Now for this, what we need to do, we need to have some dependence of physical quantities. At least we are taking up to 3 physical quantities we will take generally, and we will find a relation among them. Example, if we go with an example, I am taking a simple pendulum example. I am taking uh, in that simple pendulum example, simple pendulum length we will be considered, and simple pendulum uh, time period we have to find. For the time period, we will consider that time period is depending on 3 quantities. Okay. Length of the simple pendulum, mass of the simple pendulum, and acceleration due to gravity of the simple pendulum. Okay. So I am considering it is depending on 3 things. Finally, we will come to know whether it is depending on those 3 things or not when we are deriving an expression in the end. Okay. Further, as you might have having little bit of idea about it, you don't need to know completely how exactly simple pendulum works and all complete simple pendulum theory and all. Just if you know uh, what is simple pendulum, how it looks, if you know, it is enough. Now, so right over here, right. Now, simple pendulum I will take. Just hold on and right over here. So the example is what the simple pendulum example I have taken. I'll draw that simple pendulum over here, and we will continue. The simple pendulum, if we draw. Oh, I have to take this. Right. So what we are doing, I am drawing one simple pendulum. Oh. So I am drawing one simple pendulum over here. Just a minute. Oh. Simple pendulum, I have drawn it. Oh. So simple pendulum. So one small bob will be attached to a thread, and this thread will be attached to a fixed support. And this length of this simple pendulum, if it is L, and mass of this bob is M, and what we are doing, we will pull it and we will leave. We will pull up to here and we will be leaving it. So it will make oscillations. So when it is oscillations, if it starts from this particular point, this point I am taking it as A, this point, origin point I am taking it as O, and this extreme end I am taking it as B. So it started from A and it comes to B, again it will come back to A. So to this A to B, again coming back to A, that we call it as one oscillation. The time taken to complete one oscillation, we call it as a time period. Okay. Now here, so how many things we have come across? Length of the pendulum, mass of this pendulum, and time period. Okay, and when it is moving, it will be affected, means acceleration due to gravity will be having influence on it. So acceleration due to gravity also will play a role in it. So four things we have. So we want to find the relation between this time period and these three quantities. Now further what we are doing, we will, as usual, we will take a proportionality, and proportionality, if you remove, will get a constant in terms of that constants, and I will take in terms of this. We'll see that the same thing. If you see what we have chosen, we have chosen a simple pendulum, and it will be moving under, it is oscillating under the action of force of gravity, and whose length is L, and acceleration due to gravity G I am taking. Mass of it is, I am considering it as M. Time period is capital T. We are finding this time period by using this dimensional analysis method. The same time period expression we will find in oscillations chapter, that is the important 8 marks question. So again we will be doing it there. Okay, here we are doing it with the dimensions, right? Now, so it depends on sorry, the time period T depends on these three quantities I have considered. Whether really it depends or not, we will come to know in the end. Okay, now see, so that I am taking, as I said, proportionality constant we have to take, that I have taken it as a K, and length, mass, acceleration due to gravity I have taken as a multiplicative factor. Now, usually we will take in the form of multiplication only, and we do not know how much power we get in the end. That's the reason I have chosen some variable x, y, z. You can take small abc also, doesn't matter. Okay, I have chosen here x, y, z. Now what we do now, we will be knowing this time period is nothing but time as per our fundamental physical quantities. L is nothing but length as per our fundamental physical quantity. M is nothing but mass, that is also there in fundamental physical quantity. G is what? Acceleration due to gravity. Nothing but what? Acceleration, which already we derived in the previous classes. Acceleration due to gravity, uh, acceleration due to gravity, one dimensional formula we derived, right? Now, if we go with this dimensional formulas, and if we substitute wherever it is there, then we will be finding one relation among them. As I said, x, y, z are some variables, and k is some constant. So we are not going to find the constant value by using dimension analysis. We will just say that there will be some constant. That's all. Now, if we continue further, uh, we have taken time period, and that is depending on three things we have considered. So those three things, dimensional formulas should be written: mass dimensional formula, acceleration due to gravity dimensional formula, and length dimensional formula should be written. So if I write them, mass only M will be there. That's the reason L and T powers I made it 0. Okay, L length only will be there. M and T powers I made it 0. Okay, usually we will write in terms of three things: mass, length, and time. That's the reason I have written this. Next, acceleration due to gravity. Lt to the power of -2 is its formula. M power 0 I kept. Okay, these are already been known things. Again, I am not going to explain this. Time period. Time period is what? T. Only time means capital T. ML powers I have written 0. Now, already we have written T is equals to K into L power X, and M power G power we have written. The same thing, if we substitute in this L power X, M power Y, Z power Z, if I substitute these dimensional formulas into this, in terms of dimensional analysis we want to do, that's the reason I am substituting this. So T I will substitute over there. So T I have substituted, and length, mass, and acceleration due to gravity is also I have substituted, and powers I have written. Now powers also I will split individually. So M power 0, L power 0, T is equals to M power Y. Here 0 is there, here only is there, here also 0. So these two we don't need to consider. M power Y we will write here, and here L power X will be there, and here L power Z will be there. So same powers, sorry, same basis powers can be added. L power X plus Z. And T power, here T power 0 we don't need to consider, here T power 0 we don't need to consider, here T power -2, -2Z we will get here. Okay, now just I have taken powers individually. Now we will compare both sides, same basis are there, powers if we compare. M power how much is there? Y. So here M power how much is there? 0. So Y is equals to what we get? 0 we get. Okay, next this one I'll take. Okay, X plus Z is equals to what do we get? 0 only we get. Next, minus 2z is equals to 1 we get. T power nothing is there means 1 it will be. Okay, that if I write y is equals to 0, x plus z is equals to 0, minus 2z is equals to 1. Here power is 1. Now from last expression I will take z is equals to what happens? Minus 1 by 2 we get. Okay, z is equals to 1 by minus 1 by 2. That if we substitute in this. So what we are getting here, just hold on, just a minute. Z is equals to, we got it as a minus 1 by 2 we get. If we substitute from here, if we take z is equals to what happens? Minus is there, that minus also will come this side, minus 1 by 2 will come. Now next, that minus 1 by 2 if I substitute in this, x is equals to, x plus z is equals to 0, x z value is minus 1 by 2, x minus 1 by 2 is equals to 0, x is equals to this minus 1 by 2, other side if it goes plus 1 by 2 it will become, right? So that is what I got. So y is equals to 0, x is equals to 1 by 2, z is equals to minus 1 by 2. So what we have to do, these values has to be substituted in this. T is equals to, what happens? K into L power x. L power x means L power 1 by 2, y power, sorry, m power, y means 0, m power 0, and z. Z is what? G power minus 1 by 2 it will come. Now if we do that, so what happens? Then T is equals to K into L power 1 by 2, G power minus 1 by 2. So m power is 0, so we don't, m power 0 means power 0 means it is 1, we don't need to consider it. Okay, so T is equals to K into T to the power of 1 by 2, G to the power of minus 1 by 2. So power minus 1 by 2 if it is there, we can write in the denominator L to the power of 1 by 2 by G to the power of 1 by 2. So that if I write over here, so just a minute, I'll write that in the here, somewhere here I'll write. So what we got, L power T is equals to K into L power 1 by 2 we got. G power minus 1 by 2 means G power, in the denominator G power 1 by 2 we can write. Power 1 by 2 means, it means that it is L by G whole power 1 by 2 we can write. Okay, that means T is equals to K into power 1 by 2 means what it is? Root. Okay, so square root of L by G we are getting. This is what we got. So time period is depending only on length and acceleration due to gravity only. It is not depending on mass. It is depending on length and acceleration due to gravity only. Even though we have taken in the equation, but in the end it power came 0. That means it is not depending. So if we take some other physical quantity which is not involved in it, still, even though it is not involved in it, still we will get in the final result. If it is not involved, we will not get it, right? The time period is depending on length and acceleration due to gravity only. Okay, so that is what we got. But only thing here is we cannot find this constant. We will know the relation, but we will come to know some constant will be there. We cannot find it exactly. Okay, this constant, how much it will come and all, we will derive the same equation including this exact constant value in oscillations chapter. Okay, if we take some other physical quantity which is not dependent exactly also, we are not getting that in the result. Here I have chosen mass is dependent. Okay, means time period is depending on mass I have considered, but finally I didn't get it. That means what? Mass is not involved in it. Okay, so time period of a simple pendulum is independent of mass. That we could find in the end result, right? So what we can do by using this dimension analysis method, we can find relation among physical quantities. If it is depending, definitely we can find relation among them. Okay, if it is not, if it is independent, suppose mass is independent here, so anyhow it is not coming in the end result. Okay, if it is depending, obviously it will come in the end result. That is how we find the relation among the physical quantities by using dimensional analysis method. Okay, here actually we will be doing it in other method. The constant will come as 2 pi. We will be doing it. This oscillations chapter it will come further. Till now we have seen what are the uses or applications of dimensional analysis. Here we are going to see what are the demerits of dimensional analysis. In the last derivation itself, we have seen one demerit. We found one constant k in the derivation part, but by using dimensional analysis, we cannot say what is that constant value. Whatever we have written there beside, that is something, some other method only. Whatever 2 pi we have written, that is not by using dimensional analysis method. We will just come to know there is a constant, but we cannot find what is the constant value exactly. We will see the other demerits also. So we cannot be used in the following cases where the value of constants in an equation cannot be determined as the constants do not have dimensions. That is what, just whatever I mentioned. Okay, constants, we cannot find them, right? Now, so only dimensional consistency and not physical consistency can be tested. This I told you with the first example, first application. Two equations can be dimensionally correct. Like we have done ut plus half at square if equation, if it is there. Ut plus half at square also it will give dimensionally correct. Ut minus half at square also it will give dimensionally correct only. Okay, so dimensional consistency and physical consistency cannot be tested exactly. Okay, so the equation dimensionally it will be correct only by changing the constant, by changing the sign, but it may not be physically consistent. Okay, so this is also one more demerit. Next, dimensions can be found from physical quantity, but physical quantities cannot be always guessed from dimensions. Okay, if I have some acceleration dimensional formula we can write, because we know acceleration formula change in velocity by time, and we can write it as what, lt to the power of minus 2 we can write. But lt to the power of minus 2 if we have, we can say acceleration. If we see some other like mlt to the power of minus 1, if it is there dimensional formula, mlt to the power of minus 1 if I say, based on that you can say dimensional formula, but by using that mlt to the power of minus 1 dimensional formula, what we can say based on that, if we have mlt to the power of minus 1 if it is there, by using this dimensional formula we can say that this is the dimensional formula of momentum, so the physical quantity is momentum we can say. But so there will be physical quantities where they have same dimensional formula. It may be impulse also, right? Now, so we may not say exact dimensional formula of a physical quantity. We may not say exact physical quantity by using the dimensional formula. That is what it is given, right? Next, if we see further, the equations containing the dependency on more than 3 quantities cannot be determined using only M, L, and T. This is also one more factor. We have, when we are deriving, we are using M, L, and T. So if it is involved with some other physical quantity, like here T is the time, if it is involved with temperature, so that also should be taken into consideration. So there it comes a difficulty. Usually we were writing only in terms of ML and T. M power, if it is not there, we will writing power as 0 and all, and we are continuing. So if it is involved with some other more than 3 physical quantities, it looks a little difficult to solve. Of course, we may write it in terms of power of k if it is involved with temperature, but we do not know how many physical quantities are involved in it. So it may not be ending with the exact result. So it can be treated as some alternate method only, it means. Next, if 4 independent quantities are involved, then 4 variables and hence 4 simultaneous equations are required. Hence 3 must be 4 fundamental dimensions. Okay, there must be 4 fundamental dimensions. If it is any other dimension which is not fundamental involved in the given equation, then it will be difficult to solve. We cannot solve it that easily. Next, the equation containing exponential, trigonometric, logarithmic functions. Okay, log values are sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, any of them are exponential functions if it is there. So those cannot be derived by using dimension analysis. If it is simple equation, simple powers, then we can derive. If it is involved with some exponential, e power and all, trigonometric functions, logarithmic functions, those cannot be derived by using dimensional analysis. These are the demerits. And what else we have? What else we have here is, just a minute. The equations having the relations other than products, like quotients, cannot be derived. Whatever we have done in the previous equation, we just multiplied them and we have done. Products, if it is there, we can. If quotients are there, okay, those cannot be done with this dimensional equation, dimensional analysis method. We cannot find the relation among them. Okay, so that is how it function. Okay, now that is all about it. We have some dimensional formulas. This already we derived some, and I'm giving